Would you mind telling me whose brain I did put in?
And you won't be angry?
I will not be angry.
Abby someone.
Abby someone. Abby who?
Abby normal.
This is the Abby Normal Podcast, here to tell you that you're weird, and that's normal. My senior year of high school, we had a family unit. There was a pretend wedding, and then we carried around bags of flour that were supposed to be our burdensome infants. My girlfriends and I volunteered ourselves, or maybe demanded, to be the bride and bridesmaids. We bought dresses and everything, and also returned the dresses afterwards. Sorry, Macy's. In retrospect, it was good that we volunteered because 4 out of the 5 of us married our boyfriends soon thereafter. The one who didn't is still married to her first spouse, so I guess she was the smart one. So the message was loud and clear. No sex, no bag of flour until after the teenagers pledged their entire life to one another in a fake wedding ceremony. Okay, I get the benefits of a wait until marriage sex approach. It's safer emotionally and physically. The only problem is that it doesn't work for everyone. At least half of that senior class did not or had not waited until their sacred wedding night filled with rose petals and flickering candlelight. Some did, and more props to ya. But the sampling of friends we talked to today did not. And that doesn't mean that losing their virginity felt wrong or bad. In fact, at the high end of the spectrum, there are beautiful teenage love stories. And at the low end, the experience was fine. Then there were awkward and fun experiences in between. To get off on the right foot, let's talk to people who were stoked about their first time. We're going to start with my 4 best girlfriends. We're on the patio, so the audio is a little rough, but try to keep with it. You'll hear Erin, Vicky, and Corey. You've already met Corey, most recently hearing her bra snap story on the Awkward Touch episode. You'll also hear Christine pipe in with a very important question. What exactly is dry humping?
Did you have painful sex for the first time?
No.
Did you?
Yes, but it hurt so good. I did cry afterwards.
Oh my god, why?
I don't know.
Like emotions?
It's just like, yeah. I was 18. I was late to the party.
Yeah,
Same.
I was 18 too.
Not late to the party, right on time.
Not.
Nope. Did you feel bad?
No. I didn't feel guilty or anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just like
intense.
one of those overwhelming, like,
Yeah.
you just start crying. You don't know why.
I just remember it going through my head, oh my god, I'm not a virgin anymore. Oh my god, I had sex. That was like a big sort of step.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted it so bad. We had done everything else all the time. We were basically humping each other 24/7. But yeah, so I put on these tiny little panties and this tiny little hippie, I'll never forget, like yellow tie-dye dress that was super short. And I knew his mom wasn't going to be home all day. So I put condoms in my purse and I walked in the summer heat all the way over to his house and was like
Like a cat in heat.
do me now. Today is the day.
Yeah.
And I was in love, and we'd been together for like 3 years. So I was really happy about it. And he was 18, though. I was 16. He was a virgin, too. And so it was just a really special experience. And then we showered together afterward.
Wow.
I know.
That's
So
very
intimate.
mature.
Yeah, because, there was some messiness involved. And then after that, we just started having sex like every single day. Oh, I had also gotten on the pill 2 months before that for my endometriosis and such. So I knew, I was a smart kid. I did a lot of bad shit as a teenager, but I was a smart kid.
I was just so terrified of getting pregnant. My mom had scared me with 3 of people that I knew who had gotten pregnant at 14, 17, and 18. At least one of them had not actually had penetration. It was like naked dry humping situation.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And so I was so terrified of like sperm and anything, that had always sort of been in my head, and like just terrified me that like, oh God, I was going to get pregnant. And so like the first time, I also remember going, oh my God, there's a penis inside me. The penis is inside me. The penis is inside me. Like that was also happening. Like I was definitely on birth control and all of that kind of stuff. You know, like when we messed around, like once the penis came out and like any sort of fluid came out, it was like, please stop touching me. That like, I don't want any of that business over near my business, because like if I get it on my knee, it's gonna crawl up somehow. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just was terrified of getting pregnant before being committed or being married or any of that kind of stuff. Scary sperm.
Panties are not 100% effective birth control.
No.
If someone jizzes on your panties.
Okay, I'm still trying to figure out what dry humping means then, because wouldn't it just accidentally slip in?
No, like if you're
So
just...
he's not hard?
No, he's hard.
Definitely hard.
But how does it not just slip in? You're like squeezing it in between your thighs?
No.
Potentially.
Yeah, that's
Potentially,
like one way.
or like you're just...
The logistics of this stuff.
Well, I think you could be like at varying degrees of clothes on and off, or you know, maybe the penis comes out for a second to be touched, then it's gonna be put away again.
Or it's sort of up here.
Yeah.
It's like vertical.
It's just around. It's just not in.
Yeah.
It's anywhere around, but not in.
Well, and I feel like you have to think about like your brain prior to the first time you had sex, right? Like so. It didn't just slip in. There was like a lot of other things happening. That wasn't like the natural.
Yeah.
Like now you're like near your husband and it like pops right in. You're like fine.
Yeah. Because that's the goal.
Right.
Whereas the goal of dry humping is like, let's do everything but around
Let's just have
and
a
just be
workout.
in the
Yeah.
vicinity.
So there's a lot of like creativity
Yeah.
and also like strange prevention measures.
Right.
Lay there and
On
just
top
hump
of
me,
you.
hump me like a dog.
Where did you guys go to do that?
Oh, for sure, friends' houses or my house before parents got home. In those hours between school and when parents got off work.
Cars.
Make sure your kid has an after school
Cars.
activity.
All the cars.
Cars. We
Back
actually...
seats.
There was an...
Vans, when you put the seats down in the van. A truck bed.
Oh my god.
Any vehicle with wheels.
trailer.
Front seats. You just lay the front seat down.
Doing it.
Doing it. Wow. Doing
And
it.
then lifeguarding started halfway through my
Doing
senior
it,
year
doing
of
it
swim.
some more.
And I didn't finish my senior year of swimming because I would rather lifeguard and hump my boyfriend after school every day.
That's like what I want to do right now
Right
with
now.
my life.
It's lifeguard and humping
Rotate.
now.
Yeah. That sounds like a pretty good gig. I wonder if they're hiring.
I love you, baby. Although I probably shouldn't.
Darlene and Annie also have satisfying first-time stories. Emotionally satisfying.
Let's talk about you and me.
Are we gonna get sued for
Talk about
singing
all
this song?
the good things. I think so, probably.
Probably. It's
Such
fine.
a good song,
Sue me.
though.
I have no money.
Such a good song. Okay, sex. Let's talk about sex.
High school.
So high school.
You were ill.
So I guess, yeah, I was really thin. And I didn't get the boobs until college, pretty much.
Well,
Like, they
yeah.
didn't
I mean,
show
if the menses didn't come till 16, then
Yeah, I was like in college before they showed up, and it's what showed up, and so it was just kind of like I don't know. I was very self-conscious, you know, about that, and I didn't get a lot of dates, and the dates I got, I wasn't that interested in. Like they were just, they were the guys that were like meh, you know, right? You feel me, right?
Yep.
And so that was kind of and then my senior year in high school, actually right after graduation, I met this guy that we worked at Kmart together because that was my first job.
Discount on the Chrissy Teigen gear.
Blue light special. What's Chrissy Teigen?
Damn it.
Whatever it is. Cheryl Teagues. Well, no, by then it was probably Kathy Ireland.
Right.
So, I worked at Kmart and I met this guy, and his name is Mark, by the way. And so like right after I graduated, he invited me to a party at his house. Like his dad was out of town, and you don't just like go to a strange party by yourself. So I took some friends with me. And this was such a famous incident that I know the date. It was June 16th, 1993, because like it was such a famous incident. So anyway, at that party, I ended up like making out with him. Another friend made out with another guy she dated for years. Another friend met her future husband. Like it was a whole, that's why the date was so memorable. Yeah. So
I was picturing like you accidentally murder someone and have to bury them in the woods.
See, that would make a good story.
Yeah. Okay, but no. It was just love connections.
It was just a bunch of love connections that happened. And so I dated that guy for 7 years after that. So I went from like 0 to long-term relationship.
Right.
Like, boom, like that. So here I am. I've graduated from high school with my virginity intact, which nobody else I knew had. Like I was literally, except for Andy, at the time, she's over here raising her hand. At the time, like none of my friends had it was me, right? And they would tease me about it. They'd be like, "Oh, you still got your hymen, ha ha," like.
Yeah, that's kind of gross. Did you feel bad or awkward about it, or you were just like, whatever, it's not a thing?
I don't know. Like, I guess that was one of those things that I think people wanted me to feel bad about, but I didn't. And here, I'll tell you why. This is going to sound crazy. I had a really good relationship with my dad. And I think the reason I didn't feel bad about it was because I knew my dad would like it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I discussed it with him. But I feel like I would have felt bad about it, except that I was like, no, because I love my daddy and he doesn't want me to lose my virginity. That sounds ridiculous, but
that's adorable.
It's like a daddy's girl thing. Yeah.
I definitely never thought about my dad.
Yeah.
In this context.
But you have to remember, like, I had
that makes it sound gross, Abby.
Okay, yeah, let's be clear. Let's be very clear.
No, it's sweet. It's
but
sweet.
I had no dad until I was 8, and then I had this amazing man come into my life. And so,
yeah.
So that is the guy I lost my virginity to. True story. Yes.
So it sounded like it happened in the timing you wanted it to happen in.
Yeah,
like
I think it did.
You were into.
I was in love.
Aww.
Yes. I think it did.
Yeah, like
it was awful.
Yeah. I was gonna say, were you disappointed? Because like the answer's always yes.
The way you said it, you like closed your eyes, like you were having a wonderful memory.
I
thought you were gonna say awesome.
I was like picturing like rose petals near a lake or something.
Let's be clear,
a nice Yankee candle lit on the bedside table.
Let's be clear, we were both virgins.
Oh.
Yeah, no. I mean, the sentiment was sweet. Let me say this, right?
Yeah,
okay, the sentiment was sweet, and he was very sweet. But no, I mean, it was just bumbling disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a total mess.
Did you use protection?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, my God, yes. Yeah, no, always.
Always.
Yeah. Okay, your turn.
I was 19, and I don't remember exactly when I lost it because I was living with a guy.
Yeah.
And we were both like religious, air quoting that.
You were like trying not to.
Yeah, we were like playing house and trying not to have sex. And so we would like fool around. But yeah, so I don't know exactly when it happened because, we played just the tip for a long time.
Right.
And then...
You were like sleeping in the same bed and everything.
Yeah, we were living together.
Yeah,
it's torturous.
That would not be
It was torturous. And then once you start, you can't really stop.
No, exactly.
I don't know when it crossed from being like... just the tip to I don't remember exactly when it was full on penetration.
Yeah.
So I don't have like
Are you satisfied with that losing your virginity story?
I think it's fine. For the capacity of 19-year-olds, we loved each other and we were living together. We were like in as committed of a relationship you can be in at 19. So yeah, I'm fine with it. I did lie to your parents about it though, because later we went on to rent one of their houses together and I definitely told them we were not having sex. So.
I mean, I feel like your heart was in the right place.
Sorry, John and Margot.
I mean, I would tell my dad right now that I'm not. So
yeah.
10
years
years into my marriage.
They did not love us living together, and I was like, it's fine. We're so responsible and have so much self-control.
Next up is Jen and John, who you met on the Too Hot in the Hot Tub episode. In their separate experiences, they were very young, in love, and they used protection. Jen's first.
My mom, she just was like always out dating and partying and doing all sorts of stuff. My parents were divorced, but my dad was always around.
Did you live with your mom?
Yeah, I lived with my mom. And my dad was a firefighter, and we would be with him. So instead of weekends, it was a weird schedule. It was like every other 4 off is what it was. And he was really strict.
Oh, okay. But your mom was
Not
little
so
checked
much.
out.
Yeah, not so much. Yeah, pretty checked out. So I was able to kind of do whatever I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
14, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go spend the night here. And then really I was at my boyfriend's house, who had his own apartment.
14.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Maybe that was 15.
Yeah.
But still.
So did your mom check up on that, like where you were? Or
No.
Never. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Nope. Maybe she would every once in a while, but then there was always like a system in place, right? So I'd get the phone call from my friend who would have said that I was in the bathroom.
Yep.
And it's like, you gotta call your mom back. Like, we had a whole system. And I got caught a couple times, but
it did not deter you.
No, you get grounded for a couple weeks and then you go back out and do the same thing again.
Okay, so when
weird
did
is
you
that?
have sex for the first time? I mean, you said you were spending the night at your boyfriend's house when you were 14.
I was 14.
So you were 14, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how did that happen? Was it bad or good?
It was really great. I feel like while I would never ever want anyone to have sex that early, I feel like I have like the best, I don't know, like I would never give up that first time experience. I was totally in love with my boyfriend. We had been, it's funny to say, but I mean, it's true. We had been in this kind of like he had been jockeying for my attention and like trying to get me to date him for like 6 months before I finally caved. And he was just like totally enamored with me. And he would date other people, and then the minute that he thought there was any chance with me, he'd be like done and break up with them and like race to my side, which was a total turnoff to me at the time. And eventually, like 6 months in, he finally won me over, and then I was like actually in, and we knew each other for about a year, and maybe dating for 2 or 3 months, so not that long.
Mm-hmm.
And he was moving. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he was moving to California. It was like his last night, but we were still going to be in a like long distance relationship, which lasted about a month. And we decided to do it. It wasn't his first time, but it was mine. He was older. He was 17. But he was really careful and considerate, and it was very like, okay, we're going to do this.
Yeah, you decided together.
It was like on the like couch cushions, like on my friend's bedroom floor while all of our friends were in the living room, like fully knowing what was happening in the bedroom, type of like
super romantic.
Yeah, that part not so much. But he had like turned on music and was very careful and considerate the whole time and really sweet. And so we had sex, and he was like, probably feels weird. I remember him saying, like, you might feel like you have to pee afterwards. And I did. And I was really grateful that he named it, because I felt really weird about it. And then we were laying there cuddling afterwards. And and that Bryan Adams song, Everything I Do It For You, came on the radio.
Oh my God.
And I started crying.
Oh, you for sure started crying.
I definitely started crying. It was the first time I ever like cried happy tears in my life. And he was so concerned. He was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Did I hurt you? And he was like terrified. And I was like, no, I'm just so happy. And he was like, everyone's going to think I hurt you. Stop crying. And I was just like overwhelmed with emotion.
I love it.
Yeah, it was really sweet.
Everything I do.
Oh my God. Every time I hear that song, still to this day, I'm like, ugh.
Okay, wait. Did you use protection?
Yeah.
Condom?
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
And we ended up breaking up a couple months later because I wanted attention from men who were present that weren't 2 states away. And then many years later when I was like 19 and the internet had evolved more. And I had it several different times. I attempted to look for him, but hadn't been able to. And I had a breakup. And so I looked for him and I found him online. He was still in California and I emailed him and he was like, so overjoyed to hear from me. I'm not kidding you. He booked a flight up to see me within like 1 week and was just like, and like he attempted to like restart the whole thing again. And I saw him and I was like, oh, it's not.
It didn't have the Bryan Adams magic anymore.
It just wasn't there anymore. Yeah.
And I'm really happy you gave it a try though.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't the same anymore.
Yeah.
But that moment, and he was so sweet. He was like so romantic. I remember one time he bought these like gas station roses. You remember the ones that were like in the glass?
100%.
You know what I'm talking about. Yes. He like bought a bunch of them and then he put love messages in each of them inside the glass. And then he created a scavenger hunt for me where I had to like go look for each of them.
Yeah. Oh, so romantic.
Lots of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Real sweet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For sure, I've always been grateful that like so many people have bad first time memories. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I have a good one.
John also has a great love story, one that left him with feelings he wasn't quite ready for.
First love, Morningstar, who was a grade above me and was a super awesome sort of female version of Robert Plant. She was very tall, rocker chick. I mean, this chick was badass. She smoked Marlboro Reds.
Wait, how old were you?
I was 13.
You were 13?
I was in 8th grade and she was a freshman in high school.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. Deep breath as a parent, right? But this story is quite comical.
Okay.
And she had the reputation. She got labeled the slut. Wrongfully so. I think a lot of that was socioeconomic, but also because she was a loud, powerful woman.
Right.
You know? Which has always been my jam. And we started dating for a while and we would walk to school. The junior high was like a block below the high school. So we'd meet up, walk to the junior high, and much to the chagrin of every parent dropping their kid off, we would post up in front of the field fence and just lock lips for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Lots
of snogging. And I remember the vice president, this was like my first sort of run-in with Honor. You know, she left and he walked up to me and basically was trying to deter me from doing that. But in doing so, sort of hinted that, you know, your relationship, and he said her name, and that bugged me because the tone he said it made it sound like he was slut-shaming her.
Oh, no. This was the vice principal of the school.
Yeah, no. Yeah, who was a fucking, you know, creepy, just like every other vice president.
Why is he looking so closely?
Yeah. And, I got in trouble because I just basically told him to fuck himself. But anyway, I think she'd been with some older dudes, and I was sort of this sweeter, more impressionable younger guy. And so for, you know, again, women run and shit, she decided that I was the one. She's like, okay, I'm going to lose my virginity. This is the guy. And so she, unbeknownst to me, planned this whole thing out. And the deal was I snuck out of my house, which I did frequently, walked the 4 blocks to her house. She met me out front. There was a boat and a trailer parked in her driveway. And we got in the trailer.
Oh my gosh.
And we did our usual, you know, kissing, snogging thing. And at some point she said, I'd like to have sex with you. And I pulled up and said, what will my children say? That's the first thing I said.
No.
Yeah. So again, not very slick at 13. And she said, don't worry, you know, it's fine. I've got some condoms. It was a 3-pack of the awful, stinky Trojans. Terrible. We were also, I think, drinking a little bit of beer, but you know, who gets drunk on beer? But it'll factor in later. So anyway, I say, you know, I can't turn this down because every guy's goal in life is to get laid, even at the ripe age of 13.
Is that true?
Absolutely. In LA, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'd watched all the John Hughes films. I'd hung out with plenty of my friends' older brothers, and it was just always about getting chicks, you know? So the punchline is we start having sex. And I kind of have to pee.
Oh, no.
So I said, excuse me, this is maybe a few minutes into it. I said, I have to go out and get pee, right? Go pee. So I stepped out of the trailer, took the condom off, urinated, put the second condom on, go back in. And Granted, I was fairly nervous, as well as spectacularly inexperienced. And we started having sex again, and another 5 minutes go by, and I'm kind of thinking like, I think I have to pee again.
No.
So I excuse myself again, go outside the trailer, take the second condom off, urinate. As soon as I put the third condom on, I realized I have to pee again. So we had sex for another 10 minutes. So this is like a 18 to 20 minute thing all in. And I faked my orgasm the first time I had sex.
No.
Yeah, because I just wanted it to be over with, and I was more about the sort of socio-psychological pressure to do this, and it was really sweet. Afterwards, she'd stolen a Capri cigarette and like some horrible menthol Philip Morris for me, and we had a cig on the way home, and walked back to my place, and I went in, and then that was it.
That makes me feel so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it wasn't... Well, the punchline, of course, was that 2 days later she came over and my parents were at home and the sex lasted 30 seconds.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, that was going to be my question. Like, did you feel like you weren't ready? Like, you weren't there
I didn't feel like
mentally?
I was ready, and I was super nervous, even though, like every other 13-year-old boy, I was masturbating like a sieve. But, like, someone else there was nerve-wracking.
But then you had some time to brew on it, so you were ready the next time.
Well, I think I wasn't drinking, I didn't have to pee.
Right.
So, yeah. The relationship with Morningstar lasted about a year and a half. And she was regularly sneaking into my bedroom at night so we could have sex. And the next door neighbor was a teacher at the junior high school that I attended, and saw her hopping the fence into my backyard one time and promptly told my parents what was happening, because they were really oblivious. Again, that's the nice thing about growing up with parents that came of age in the 60s. Being a kid in the 80s was they were clueless. So anyway, my stepdad, Chris, and my mom sat me down for dinner to talk about what was going on. And as my stepdad tells it, he said, "John, I want to talk to you about sex." And I quipped rather with some bravado, "Sure, what would you like to know?" As if I was going to inform him. That's how he told it. I think in my mind, I was just young and trying to be open. But...
Yeah. So what did he say about it?
We talked about a lot of things. We talked about what the relationship be like when you're having sex. Respect for women, in particular, was a big conversation. And sort of the consequences of things that don't go well during sex.
Right.
I think one of the things that I was just totally unprepared for was the emotional component, because it was 3 years before I was, buying comic books. I mean, I still buy comic books, but I was playing with G.I. Joe and was really a kid, and I think that's what's super gnarly about junior high is you are a really messy blend of kid and adult.
Absolutely.
And so that was my girlfriend for all of 8th grade. And then I moved up to the Bay Area for freshman year of high school. And she started seeing another fella. And I'll tell you what, I was not ready for the emotional component. I mean, we were like best friends.
Oh, that's cute.
But I remember just bawling to my stepdad in my grandparents' kitchen. The gross, ugly, like... type bawling, not like the cool cry.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, I physically felt the pain in my chest. It was the first time I felt heartache.
Aww.
And I just was definitely not ready for that intense of a connection with the woman.
Right.
Which is interesting because when you unwind the sort of bullshit puritanical modern civilization, nature's telling kids to fuck at 13.
It really is.
I mean, like...
100%.
I know girls, start their cycle and they go with that stuff, but, like, anything that's not nailed down, a boy will hump.
Yeah.
Like, it's perverse. It's ridiculous,
Let's transition into the fun and or awkward spectrum. Letty is going to tell us how she got away with some high school afternoon delight.
When did you lose your virginity?
At the age of 16.
This is what is so interesting, is how your parents have you on lockdown.
Yeah.
You cannot look out the window.
Right.
And you managed to find a penis.
I did. I sure did.
You know, they're not watching me during school hours.
Oh my God. During school hours?
Yeah.
You must tell me the story.
So the boyfriend I was dating at that time didn't live too far from school.
Were you allowed to have a boyfriend?
No. That was... What? I barely had, like, girlfriends, remember?
He lived close to school.
Yeah,
and
he
what?
was my friend's brother.
Yeah.
He was a little older than us.
Like, was he in high school?
No.
Oh, no.
I know. Terrible. So, you know, just go there.
Okay, so you would go to his house, like, on the regular?
Pretty regular. You know?
Oh, my gosh. Your poor dad.
Yeah, but I was still a great student, and I was still a great daughter, and I never noticed.
Yeah. Having sex is not equal bad kid,
It does
contrary
not,
to maybe
no.
what parents like to say.
And fortunately, and I'm saying so fortunately, I was sick. So I was on birth control.
Right. Yes. So you didn't even have to have the conversation with your mom.
No.
Or accidentally make a baby.
Yeah.
So that worked out well.
Yeah. So, you know, I could have been one of those like, oh, high school pregnancies, but I was so fortunate that I was a sick child.
Oh, thank
I was on birth
goodness.
control.
Christine is a long-term friend from high school, and I find her story bumblingly wholesome. She's a bit quiet, so I'll just tell you, all her firsts were with the same guy. Here she is. Do you remember me when you were in 7th grade and I was in 8th grade?
No, I mean, we have always been friends, but I remember going to your birthday party. Well, I went with people that weren't even from school.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't even think I was invited.
That's fine. Everyone was invited.
Yeah. So, and I knew you, so I think I, like, kind of just swooshed in.
Yeah, that's
kind of
your
how
MO.
I do things, yeah. And then they just fall in love with me, and I can't help it.
Right. When was your first kiss?
Honestly, I think it was, like, 6th grade.
Like tongue and everything, or just like a adorable
I don't
peck
know.
kind of
Maybe
situation?
a little bit of both.
Who was your first boyfriend?
I think so.
What? 6th grade also?
Yeah.
Oh.
And on and off throughout, like elementary and junior high, and then we were just friends.
Yeah. Because, you know, I went out with him for like 2 weeks in 8th grade. And you wrote me like the most hilarious note, and I wish I had it right now, because you were basically like, when he's friends with you, he's nice. When he's like not friends with you, he's mean. When he has a problem with you, he's like the worst person you've ever met.
Like
something like that.
That's usually how it rolls.
It's like, thank you for the information.
That's very Luke. That's funny.
And you also lost your virginity with that person, correct?
Yes.
And what grade was that in?
I was 15.
15, you were a little baby.
And it was like super awkward weird.
Oh, okay. What happened?
It was like a Home Alone situation. We're like, like we were dorks. It was not a good thing.
Had you planned? Like you were like, okay, we're gonna have sex now.
I like literally feel like we were in my room and it was like hot and sweaty and we're like, and it was just weird. It's like a 5-second situation, like an enter and unenter.
Oh gosh. Oh, it's so terrible.
Yeah. But you know, I could say that he was my best friend for a very long time. So it was, if it had to be someone, I'm okay with that.
Right. That's true.
It wasn't a bad, I mean, it was an awkward situation. It wasn't like a scary bad situation.
Right. Totally. So that's good.
I love you, baby. Although I probably shouldn't. I tried to leave you once.
Lastly, we have my story and Jasmine's. She was on the Familia Matters episode. Our experiences were fine, with a hint of regret. Here they are. So your first boyfriend wasn't until 22. Mm-hmm. When did you lose your virginity?
Oh, great. Okay. 14.
14.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was the guy? I mean, I don't need his name, but like
this guy
what
I was
happened?
crushing on for a long time.
Aww.
Like, but it wasn't love, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
infatuation, I guess.
Yeah.
And we broke up and my friends were having sex. So I was like, okay, well,
okay, fine, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened.
And so were you happy at the time?
I was a little bit I regretted it because I was like, it was something I wanted to like save. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, no, it's something I experienced. Okay, I know what it is. Okay, that's that.
Yeah.
But in high school, like as a teenager, sex wasn't really that enjoyable for me though.
Yeah.
It's like I was like, embarrassed, wasn't comfortable.
Yeah.
Didn't really know my body that well. So.
Right. You like don't know what you like.
Yeah.
You don't even know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like the guy for sure has no idea what he's doing either. So
no.
Yeah, it's not gonna be that great.
No.
I love you, baby. Although I probably shouldn't.
What about you? When was your first?
Yeah, mine was not. I mean, it wasn't like a traumatic memory, but
Yeah.
it wasn't sweet and cute. I was 16 and kind of like dipping my toes into rebellion, basically. And so was doing the like hanging out with older guys and drinking and smoking.
Yeah.
And there was a guy, I was like regularly hanging out with him. He was 21 and I was 16.
Yep.
One night he picked me up and we like went and hung out and we had sex. And it was like, I didn't know we were going to have sex because I was so inexperienced that I didn't understand like A goes to B goes to C. Like I didn't understand all of that.
Yeah.
So, suddenly we were like making out and then a penis was in me and I was just like, what's happening? Like I don't understand. So I didn't feel like violated or anything like that. It was just like had certainly moved faster than I had intended it. And he was never my boyfriend. Like we were just hooking up.
This was not. Yeah.
No, like I do not have like warm fuzzy memories about it. It was fine,
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Speaking to the mic, put the lens on zoom.
These stories were all from, quote, good kids. They got good grades, played sports, and amazingly had safe sex. And I recognize that this isn't everyone's experience the first time. It can be bad. But it seems to me that, yes, there's lots of awkwardness, but there's also love. And I think that we as adults should respect that. When you do it doesn't define you in any way. And can we please shift away from losing your virginity? None of these stories indicate any kind of loss, but rather a gain in experience and growth into adulthood. And most of them very willingly tossed their virginity, not necessarily to their partner, but into that toy trunk where the old My Little Ponies live. I recognize that these are all straight P and a V stories, and are not representative of all the modes of sex that a teen or adult may experience. And I'll admit that that's a blind spot for me. I've already recruited cherished friends and family to help me with any sex talks that my own experience prevents me from doing well. If you have a tween, you may also need to phone a friend. It's better than Google, right?
Speaking to the mic, put the lens on zoom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
The tracks today are Probably Shouldn't by DJ Lang, Groovin' and Bada Bing by Texas Radio Fish.
Speaking to the mic, put the lens on zoom.
The other day, I asked my boys, am I sexual? And they all replied in perfect harmony, yeah.